Howdy, Beefalo Bart here, and welcome. Alright, as the title suggests, this was the rolling blueprint example. Never looked at it before. I mean, when you're creating, you can set up first person, flying, puzzle, rolling, third person, 2D side scroller, handheld AR, which I want to look at later, twin stick shooter, top-down vehicle, virtual reality, which seems like fun, and vehicle advanced. And I've done a few of them here and there, but I have never done rolling. Not done a thing with it. So I don't know anything about it. This is the example map that comes with it when you create the project in that format. So we hit play, yay, mouse cursor. So left mouse button jumps. WASD for controls to go forward, backwards, left and right. Alright, knock over the tower of pimps here. Well, partial tower. Some of you will get that, some of you won't. Ball spins awful damn fast. So one thing that I see is the camera, and I kind of guessed that this was the case. Somebody had asked me about this once before, and I had never done anything with this stuff, so didn't know how to answer. I'm trying to get this thing to go onto the thing, and just going full stick is not working. The camera doesn't move whenever we're moving. So I you know, I don't see a way of keeping that camera going. I mean, it's just always in the same location. So to me, it seems like that would actually be a problem. If you're trying to navigate and use this and try to roll, it'd kind of be nice to be able to have the camera change based on the forward vector. And I was thinking about this earlier before I even loaded the project up or created a blank project for this. Was how would you change the camera based on which way you're going? And the best thing that I can think of is maybe get a reference to your forward vector, and with that forward vector, you change the rotational position of the camera based on the forward vector. And since you want the camera to not be facing the wrong direction, you would just either add or subtract 180 to the direction. So that just seems logical to me, that you would want your camera to actually track, because you can see where the camera location is here in relation to the ball. Just seems like if I'm going this way, I want the camera facing this way. But if I change my vector and I'm going this way, or my forward vector, I want the camera to swing around this way and now track which way I'm actually going. So, like so, and a frickin' mouse cursor. So, again, now that I'm going this way, I'd want my camera to be on the opposite side. So let's actually take a look at it. Like I said, this is the first time ever messing with these things, so I don't know what's going on with it. Physics ball BP. Alright, so these are your controls. What else is in here? Not much. Okay, so input axis move right. So that tells me that they have gone in and done key bindings, which I'm going to go ahead and do this now. Main window, loading and saving, disable. I wish that would stay a constant. So yeah, whenever you're going to make your controls left and right, this is what it does. Add torque in radians. Okay, interesting. Same thing there for forward and backwards, jump. Yeah. It's using a variable for can jump. Makes sense. And re-enable jumping on landing event hit. Okay, interesting. So, looking at the viewport, we have camera 8 miles away, and we have the ball. Anything in construction script? Not a thing. So I'm going to take a look at the idea of, since we have the camera and we have the spring arm, would imagine we'd want to control the spring arm, perhaps, because we have a transform for that. It's at 45-degree angle here on absolute rotation. Just to get started with, I'm going to, on event begin play, lack of a better thing to think of for right now, I want to start getting input values, saying what's what. So let's actually try with a reference to the ball and get forward vector so we can actually get the direction of which we're traveling. And then let's just do a print text. Or I could learn how to actually type print text. And what I want to do is print off this value. So I'm just going to plug this in here, and it'll automatically do the conversion for me right there. So on event begin play, it's going to get the forward vector of the ball, and it's just going to print it out on the screen. So you can see there's, I haven't done anything. And okay, so it printed off at first. Let's go ahead and put in a delay, because I'm going to create a loop here. And I'm going to do every second. And just loop it back there. Just see if that's going to work. And another thing I want to do here is, because I hate that stupid mouse cursor thing, no cursor. We're going to set input to game only, get player controller, go. Thank you. And we want to set show mouse cursor to false. I don't know why it does it for me. Other people have said that it's not doing it for them. So I'm just going to plug this in here. No cursor. Now let's see if this will work, and let's see what happens. Good. Alright, so it's giving my forward vector there in X, Y, and Z. So, without doing it every second, you know, you could probably set this on an event tick, but there's no point in doing it at that high of a frame rate. So you could actually dial this back down and set it to where you're doing it every half second maybe, or 3 times a second, or 5 times a second. Instead of, if you're getting 120 FPS, you don't want to do this 120 times a second. I mean, you could, but because it's not a very high impact and not a multiplayer game. So we were able to define that information. All right, so what else can we do with this? All right, so I'm going to break the loop for right now. We're getting that forward vector of the ball. You know what? I'll leave this on there. Actually, no. Let's do another print text. And let's change the color, just so we have 2 different colors of text. Let's do 0, and we'll make this red. Now what I want to do is see if I can get the reference to the spring arm. Same thing, get forward vector, and plug that into my print text. So I want to get both the ball and the spring arm. Alright, so it's actually showing... I didn't tell it to loop. Never mind. Jeez. Dumb. Make it loop back to here. So it does that every second. So are these values the same? Let it just slowly roll here. So you can see that the red, which is the spring arms vector, is different from that of the actual ball itself. So I'm actually going to go ahead and delete that and delete that. And now that we have this forward vector here, what can we do with it? Spring arm, we want the rotation. And get rid of print text on that one. So that we're farming this data right here. We're getting the information from the ball and from the spring arm. And once a second, we're going to perform, let's do it every half second. We want to get this forward vector. And we want to set the forward vector of this. Or set the rotation. Set world rotation. And what we're going to want is to figure out our mathematics here. Not my strong suit. So we want to set this to that. But we only want the rotation. So let's break vector so that we can get the y, x, y, and z. Rotate vector. If we break vector, we're getting, and that is a vector. We're getting the forward vector. We don't need the forward vector of that anymore. We need the... Where are you going to? Let's break that. So we're going to set the spring arm. We need rotation. Get world rotation. And we want to get that. So let's actually break rotator. That forward vector, that's where we are now. We want to set the world rotation of the spring arm to this rotation. And we want to make rotator. So this will actually then plug into here. Will be the new rotation. And now we just got to figure out math here, which is spring arm. It's y is the down. So just for now, I'm going to try the x. And let's do, it's going to be float minus float. Connect that to there. And 180. So we want to take, oh shit. Get the world rotation, and then we're going to set the rotation. We actually need the value from here. Wow, I'm just totally, my brain just went blank here. We need this vector right here needs to be split, and we need to create the rotator based off of this information, and then we want to subtract 180 or add 180 so that it's pointing in the right direction. So no, we actually need to, when we're making this from right here, we need to break vector. Yeah, this is definitely not my strong suit. And we're going to run the X. For better or for worse, we're going to run the X. And if it's wrong, then I'll change it. But we're going to set it to this. So we don't actually need this anymore, because we're pulling this information here. So X negative 180. And this is definitely probably wrong. Yeah, that's definitely wrong. So let's try it on Y. Why the hell is it inverting? Because it's breaking the vector. We need that rotator. Let's actually, because no, this is going to be, there is no rotation on the transform. We're doing the spring arm, which should, that should stay the same, and that's the Y. But if we get the rotation, get relative rotation, that's not going to do what I need to do, because the rotation is figured in with all this stuff up here for traveling, for moving around. Oh, this is going to require some thinking on my part. But for now, I will come back to this, because this, it will be like watching paint dry. Alright, so we have good control. I don't like the rotational speed of the thing. It's like it turns a little bit too fast. So what would you want to do with a game mode that involves a rolling ball that you're controlling, for the most part, the direction of? A game comes to mind from a long time ago called Marble Madness. And it was essentially you had a certain margin of control of a marble that's rolling down a maze, essentially, and you could fall off the world and junk like that. It was kind of a pain sometimes. If you wanted to do something of that nature, cube material. Do we have any other materials? Well, we've got the gray and the base material. So, whatever. We'll just take that base material. And, honestly, you could sit there and do stairs, or you could create any kind of thing you wanted. Like 10. Adjust the Y to 2000. And for giggles, let's do this. And extrude, don't show this again, close. Bump it over 1, do the same thing here. Go up 1, 2, 3, 4. Delightful. Alright, so we'll do this. Select all adjacent surfaces. Just to create something here. Oh, Control C, Control V. So I have a second one of these. Growing up as a kid, we always had like Hot Wheels tracks and things like that. Those are always fun. Let's turn off snapping. Let's reset that. Just want to create a little bit of a starting point. Just for something to add to the map, just for whatever. And snapping is a good thing sometimes. Let's actually put this at 0. And we can do the same thing here. So the game's going to use, the game mode's going to use gravity. So let's start it off over here. Zero. Why would you start anywhere but 0? So, without touching anything, we're using gravity to actually make it roll. Well, let's actually try to come back up. I guess if this was your thing and you wanted to do something like this, That would be awesome. I'll leave this project up and I'll revisit it later on. Um, for those who paid attention, the thumbnail has City Studios logo on it, because if I'm going to do something with something like this, I think it would be kind of cool to do a themed deal and add in a Cinti asset pack to it to see what I could do. As it for right now, not my cup of tea. It would be interesting to play around with it just to see what you can come up with. If anybody else is doing a project with this, let me know. And if you're interested in trying to get the camera angle to actually cooperate, then also let me know. And I will continue working on it, just see if I can come up with a method of doing that, just so I can get the camera to follow the direction. And I'm sure I was on the right track there, but my brain just totally short-circuited, and yeah, I need to be doped up on coffee to get the brain firing on all cylinders. But looking at this, creating a track like this with the BSP geometry could actually make it thinner or whatever, and use that as a spline actor, or as a spline actor where you can actually use this to create all kind of different intricate shapes. You can make slides of different, dimensions, and all you're doing is just, if you've never used a spline actor before, it lets you actually change the direction, the elevation, the XYZ coordinates for each individual point, like putting a dot here, just connecting the dots essentially, and you can adjust the radius of the curves and so forth. So setting up a spline actor to create a track system, I think, would actually be pretty cool. So you can actually have areas where the players have a little bit of control, but other areas where gravity would let the ball just roll down and use momentum. Then again, something like that, if you were trying to create a roller coaster, with a roller coaster, the way they work is they try to use as much energy as they possibly can, kinetic or stored or whatever else, without having to actually fire up an electric motor and turn something. So if you can use gravity to actually propel you, that's what they try to do as much as possible. So I would say, if this is something that interests you, I would say, yeah, give it a try. It's not something that really is my thing. Why are you still in the air? I don't know. Not my deal. But I figured I'd look at it one time, see what's up. And like I said, I will get back on doing some messing around with the forward vector of the ball itself, and converting that over to change the actual rotator for the spring arm, so that as you're traveling around, the camera would actually rotate based on the forward vector of the ball. So if you're going in a certain direction, then the camera will adjust so that you stay behind the ball at all times, looking in the right direction that you're heading in. What is that? Why is that there? Blocking volume. Why would you put a blocking volume there? I don't know. Alright, well, that's it for me on this one. What I will do also is I'm going to take a look at... let's go ahead and make sure we save everything, because, I don't want it to get all crazy and stuff. File, new project. I wanted to experiment more with flying stuff. Again, not something that I've done much of anything with. And I'll do a video once I get in there. And, I'll throw some Cinti assets in there too. And who knows, like maybe flying around inside of a city, or, create a map with a valley in it, or whatever. Just fiddle around, or maybe even space game. With the sci-fi pack and the space pack, then who knows? Damn mouse cursor. So you got WASD controls. No idea. And another option is twin stick shooter. And twin stick. This one I know has, well, it's got shooter in the name of it, so it has shooting in it. Yeah, I was going to release a game on Steam about 2 years ago, and I waited until they changed their setup for how they greenlight games. And now that they've changed it, I actually had a small team going. And okay, how the hell do you shoot? Yeah, you try to find a decent team, and the trouble is trying to keep people motivated on something that is not their dream game. And that's where the problem runs into is, no matter what you're trying to do, I mean, I've got several different type projects that are open right now that I could potentially finish and put on there. It's not a money issue. I mean, I can get the money to host it. It costs $100 to put it on Steam, so it's not like that's an issue. But trying to keep people motivated to help you work on a game is problematic. And if I just quit relying on other people who weren't going to actually work on the project and just do it my damn self, I'd have been done a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I have several games that I actually could finish out with very little problems to it. And if I actually dedicated 40 hours a week, I could probably have it done in 2 to 3 months. It's because I got discouraged quite a bit on waiting on other people and expecting that people who say that, oh yes, I want to work on this project, and then they don't. Kind of a pain in the ass. This was one of the projects. I thought I've got more done on this one right here, but it is actually a version of this. I think I put it on itch.io just for the hell of it. I like the idea of working with Steam because with like my simple multiplayer Steam template, I can actually expand on that quite a bit, and can utilize a lot of data. So let's actually do this. Well, let's just do this. This was so a battle royale game with City Studios assets. Alright, so the battle actually started because I've got 2 people in here. It automatically starts you off in the other area, teleports you to the actual game zone, and then you run around trying to find hardware. I still got a lot of little things to do in here, like camera angles and things like that. Pick up ammo, weapon. Yeah, and I get a lot of people like, oh, I want to create a battle royale game, or I want to create this game or that game or whatever, and I'm like, okay, but whenever I tell them what I'm working on, they like the idea, and then they say, well, yeah, I'll help you out with that, and then they're all full of piss and vinegar, and then grenade launcher rounds. Beverages, G36, no ammo. So, I mean, this is actually a functional game here. You can actually play it. There is a version available for download. Hell. Inventory system, we got bandages. Carry 2 primaries, a handgun, a melee weapon, and grenades. Um, you see what I said about the camera angle. That's something that I have to address. There is a variation of it, but alright, that's good. And then backpack, so you can increase your inventory. I need to change the model of the backpack. I just haven't done it yet. So, pistol. See, with the camera angle the way it is, and it's sticking through the terrain, I know how to fix it, I just haven't. And it's annoying as crap, because you look at it, you want to pick up the damn items. But you can't. Snub-nose revolver, and with this, shoot this guy here. I'm going to adjust the damage levels of the weapons. They're not quite tweaked just yet. Yeah, the ragdoll effects. I don't know if I want to keep ragdoll or just go back to death animation system. You actually got a lobby system to work with. This is you can change your name before the round. Set it. You can change your character. I could be beautiful if I want to. I can host a game. We solo, duo, squad. Use the Cincy Island, which we just did, and the D-Day Beach. Let's see. Minimum players 2. And we'll do max players 2. And host game. I want to revamp the whole multiplayer system on here, so. And we'll change our character. I want to be a pretty girl also. Be a good girl. Find game session. It'll show the connected players. Found game, joining the server. And let's actually load level. So this is functional. I'm not sure if the version I've got uploaded to Itch has both maps or not. I don't know. Takes longer in this view whenever you're not actually in play mode. So you got your starting area. You see you got your countdown. There's no damage. There's no weapons. There's nothing. I mean, I could add weapons in here, but I just chose not to. So that when the game actually starts, it teleports you to the map. Hello, there's a floating tree. So then you want to run around and find your weapons. There's weapons scattered all over the frickin' map. So I was working with this one and then got started on doing a different type of game also. Backpack. When you pick up the first aid kit, it actually just gives you 5 bandages. So it shows up as 5 bandages. You can use those. There are drinks. I haven't changed the cans and stuff yet on them. Oh, there's Scar 16 and ammo. There's a new version of this asset pack out. That's another reason why I actually stopped. I can see you. Because the new version has sniper rifles and rocket launchers and other stuff in it, and pretty much just everything that I've done so far I'll end up having to redo. Damn, slap stronger than the friggin' pistol is. I gotta adjust that shit. Are you even hitting? Yeah. Yeah, that ragdoll is a little bit on the screwy side. Alright, so yeah, that was that. And then my main project that I wanted to work on, and I've explained it a dozen times over the past or more, but essentially what it started off as is This is probably a good project to show. That go into this one. Cancel. You know what? Screw you. Screw you. I've had several different engine versions installed. I need to quit doing that again. The main project that I was going to do, which was to help entice people to join the team, to do a couple different things. And the main thing was building what I always called the core, or the core system, that wasn't actually my game or your game or their game or whatever else, but building the core. And essentially what that was like using the Cindy Studios characters or asset packs. I can set up with the Cindy Studios all of their Polygon series. I can configure all of them to work with a neutral single skeleton, and then I can just worry about getting all the different animations that I need for all the different things. So I could get all the animations that I need for unarmed, just walking around, being social, interacting with other players, and just being able to walk over and hi, wave to somebody, or face palm, or just your different interactions with people. But you would also have pistol combat, rifle, shotgun, swords, throwing stars, archery, whatever. All the different forms of melee and weapons combat you can think of, having all those animations already configured into separate animation blueprints as needed and so forth, and being able to combine them back and forth. Well, by doing that, having this core system of having all these animations built into that core, essentially what you end up with is, now if I want to create a first-person shooter or a third-person shooter, I have the ability to do so because all the stuff is there. So now I can run around and do a first-person shooter, or I can run around and do a third-person shooter, and it can be done several different ways, like level streaming and so forth. Like, okay, as I'm in this, ignore my video. That's actually me, by the way, shooting at Uzi. So when you teleport across the map to another zone, you're level streaming and with your world composition and everything else too going. You go to that new zone, and now you're in a different chassis. You're out there fighting, doing your thing. But as soon as you leave that area and go back to a normal area, you go back to your original passive state. Also having a neutral town area where when you're in that neutral zone, then there's no combat. But if I go to an area that has combat, then whatever. But the whole point is build this core system where the core system revolves around actually being in a simple urban setting where you have like a town, you can have an apartment, you can go to restaurants, you can go shopping, you can do things of that nature, and have that social interaction. Now, say you come on board as a developer, and at some point you're going to want to have a hack and slash game where you're running around with swords and shields and what have you. No problem. We've already got this core system developed that has all the animations you're ever going to need, and all the characters, all the assets, all the world stuff, everything ready to go. And all you got to do is help finish building the core by adding your own little touch, whether it's building the UI or configuring animation blueprints or building maps so you can help with the main town area. So you jump in, you help finish out the core. Then when it comes time to actually build your hack and slash game, well, you've already got your animations, you already got your characters, you already got a way of getting people into your game. All you got to do essentially is build your frickin' map, and your game will work. And players, all they have to do is... Sorry, this rebuilding shaders again, but it looks kind of crap right now. But you know, you're running around town, you decide that you want to... Yes, I'm injured, so I have a medic coming to my aid. There, he healed me, and now he's going away. But if I want to go do LTB, if I want to go to your game, and your game launches from right over here, essentially I can come over here and... Well, if your idea of starting your game is starting in a strip club. But, yeah. But now I come over here and I hit a key to talk to a vendor or something like that. And I can queue up for the next available battle, or I can host a battle or whatever else just by going to that part. So players, essentially, when they first log in, they go through their character creation system and pick the character they want to use. And then... they're teleported into this nice little urban setting, or could be a sci-fi setting. You pick your theme that you like, and each theme is a separate server. And essentially, this is the main traffic area. But then again, you're only going to experience maybe 20, 30, 40 people in each server. And, you know, figuring out the server architecture on everything... It's hard to explain everything that's behind it, but essentially it's just that. It's a core system that allows easy access to play all sorts of different games. I thought I made this chair work. To make all kind of different games out of one basic starting system. And give people a place to actually... start from and launch from. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of a cool idea, and this is actually there is a stereo. The other option was also having, let's see, 3. So I still got a lot of work to do on this as well, but I can turn on the radio, play the next song, previous song, pause, play, whatever. And the stereo itself, like this right here, is only going to play in this certain area. As soon as I walk away from it, I quit hearing the radio because I'm not at the party anymore. So yeah, this was the basics of what I was trying to accomplish earlier on, was setting up the core system to where all those animations and all those combat systems and everything else were already set up and ready to go. And whenever it came time to actually setting up a game, if you wanted to do the Battle Royale, you've got the Battle Royale architecture already set up. If you wanted to do a cooperative game, I got that shit already set up too. You know, it's so many partially finished projects, it's not even funny. It's like the AI enemies thing. It's easy to use, already configured and set up, ready to go. I can drop it right into the core project. So if you want to do a cooperative game where you've got lots of AI enemies running around, engaging in combat and so forth, so all these different systems are already set up, ready to go. Don't mind the fact that I'm still using the first-person character on this, but... I did. I mean, I was already setting up even the with the Polygon War Pack. I was doing another one with some of the other stuff too. But then again, I could have the Polygon War Pack. I could have the Western Pack. I could have the Sci-Fi Packs. I could have all these different Cindy Studios assets and have different themed versions of each thing, whether it's the Battle Royale or if it's the let's go setting up AI in this section right here. Got my M1 Grand, World War II soldier. Um, yeah, I don't remember what I was doing with this. I haven't set up the finished setting up this character to shoot yet. But you got the American soldiers, and I love the AI ignores me, so it's not like I have to worry about it. But the AI will spawn in different areas inside this town. They got different waypoints. They got different objectives, and so forth. And they will run around town and engage on each other. There's a German soldier over here. So they won't shoot me because I haven't configured it to do so yet. So we're still testing the map and plotting things out. He's got an MP40. Got to set up different fire modes for the different weapons and such. Oh, he did. They're fighting over the German building here. So yeah, lots of stuff. I even got cowboy theme that I was messing with. I've got methods for generating revenue, not just from sales of the game, but from advertising and other avenues of revenue. So I had lots of ways that my project could have been profitable. But like I said, the major problem that I had was I kept waiting on other people that kept saying that, oh yeah, I'd love to help you, and then do absolutely nothing. Alright, not the greatest animation for the piano player, but it's working. You know, I can't believe I never figured that out before of how to make those doors work. They're not like 110% perfect. There's a little wonkiness every now and then, but whatever. They work. They close themselves. And it was beyond stupid simple and pisses me off that I never figured it out before. So yeah, this is from the stream the other day. If it was not done right, the doors will stay open. Alright, well, get out of here in just a second. Doing stuff like showing the traffic lights that work, setting up security lights that work with various timers for when you actually leave the radius of where the light triggers, the off timer on it, setting up booby traps to kill you, even though I didn't set up the full animation system to go with it. Respawn system, that kind of junk. Variable speed ceiling fan with light. Alright, so you guys got questions, hit me up on Discord. Almost always here. You know, if I don't respond within a few minutes, then I'm either asleep or half asleep. But if you have questions, hit me up on Discord. Just put them in the right channel. Like if it's Unreal Engine based, then put it in the Unreal Engine section. If it's just generalized stuff, one of the things that I see quite a bit, oh goody, another update, is people will come in and we'll get the welcome deal. You'll automatically get sent here, and then recommend that people go here and read the server rules. Very simple rules on there. Essentially Don't use mentions at all. Not to me, not to anybody else. And don't send me direct messages or DMs without saying, hey, can I send you a DM? I don't like them. It's just my personal preference. So, yeah, just read this little section right there. It doesn't take but a minute. If it's just general junk, just your general questions or whatever else, hanging out, asking simple questions about other stuff, general mayhem. Swag shop, I've got a couple mouse pads on my store so far, which actually I'm using the one on top right here, the gel type. I'm using that one right now. My arm is on that one. If it's Unreal Engine stuff, then general questions, put it in the general section. BBG demos is for links. This was the farm pack here. I did a try before you buy, so you could check out the farm pack. It's actually a pretty cool pack. This was the latest version of the Battle Royale. I did not put it on itch.io yet. It is currently on my Google Drive. I will at some point put it on there. If you have my simple multiplayer Steam template, then this is where I will publish anything about updates and everything else. If you have a specific help question, Unreal Engine wise, put it in here. Very simple. I guess you can kind of tell by looking at the fact that I just drug it off to the right hand side. I run 3 monitors, 3 32-inch panels. So Discord is about the only thing that's ever on that right monitor. So if you ask a question there, I'm gonna see it, and I will respond to it relatively quickly as long as I'm around. I will be doing more videos. This one was kind of a spitball after doing the first half of this video on the rolling thing. The rest of this has just been spitballing, answering a couple little poked questions here, then there and again. People often ask, well, why you started a series on so and so? Why haven't you finished it? Or what happened to this series, or that series, or whatever else? And honestly, if I don't get enough interest in the videos and I don't get any comments to them, then I'm not going to keep doing them. Just pretty simple, you know. It's like this one right here. One player. Select the viewport. Still messing around with this one, but because, you know, I haven't had any comments about it on Discord. It's kind of sputtery right now, but because I'm not full screen with the project, I guess. I have been working on this in the background. Just because I haven't done any more videos on it doesn't mean I'm not doing anything with it. But when it comes to the videos, if you want to see something, ask me on Discord. I don't often check my messages that are left on my YouTube videos. Just because I do these streams like this. Yeah, crap. Too sputtery? Not worried about it. Yeah, I'm doing that. Yeah, I don't go back and look at my own videos very often. Sometimes I will, if I forgot how to do something and I don't have the project anymore. I might go back and watch my own videos. They're good reminders for myself. But I don't often go back and look at the comments because I have a Discord channel specifically for answering questions, and it's free to join. It's free to get Discord. It's not like it costs anything. And you have access to be able to ask me questions pretty much 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If I'm here, I'll answer them. If I'm not here, I'll answer it as soon as I get back. But if you send me a Discord message and wonder why I don't respond to it, it's because I have those 2 rules. Don't send me DMs and don't send mentions on Discord. If you do either one, you're either going to get your post deleted or just plain ignored. So, thanks for watching. I'm going to get out of here. And we'll see you around.